Night Shuffle here with the Wide League. Wow, Slim, it has been an incredible day of matches so far. What have you thought about what we've seen?
Yeah, it has. From the minute we started earlier, from Relic and Sophie-chan to Tingz and of course RT, just an amazing amount of matches, especially those last couple ones we just saw. Probably the best of the day so far, but I mean, you never know what Grands, of course, has to talk about.
Scoring that 10 points at the end of that first round one match, that was absolutely insane.
It was a beauty to watch, and just to sit back and just kind of view it and listen, I was like, oh, they got grand matches. I was like, these are it right here. This is what you look for when you come to a Unite tournament and you want to see some action.
Oh, absolutely. Getting it into the last second. I mean, that is what it's all about right there. I think if I have to pick any one Mon that I really think has been like the MVP so far, I feel like everyone's Greninja right now has been shining in these competitions. We saw WDMichael on it earlier. We saw Yoshi playing it earlier as well. If they feel like we've seen some incredible Greninjas this tournament.
Yeah, and if it's not a Greninja, then it's a Glaceon. So you've kind of seen the same dominant Mons in rotation. Of course, you've seen Mimes everywhere. It is a staple Pokemon of choice. And if anybody's looking to think like, okay, what's good right now? You can tell everything that is good right now just by looking at all the games today. You've seen consistency all across the board. There's a couple niche picks that may, change here and there. Sometimes you'll see a Charizard or not, but for the most part, you see the same things, and these are the things that can win you games because of their tool set, their move sets, and of course, what you can do with those Mons.
Right. I think what you're talking about with like what's really strong in the meta, we've seen really prevalent here today. I think that there's no better case for that than the prevalency of Mime that we have seen everywhere. Mime has been a go-to on every single player's team. In your opinion, what's separating the good Mimes from the bad?
Well, it's just the ability to know when I need to hit my stuns. And of course, hitting your actual abilities. Because, everybody's played with a Mime that, they're going for the power swap and they miss, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, well, we're going to find out. But either way, we're going to hop over to, of course, the matches where the lobbies are set up. And, of course, there is a Mime and two Mimes. It's a staple. You're always going to see it. So interesting to see what the rest of the competition looks like. And we do see a Tyranitar, which I always think is a really, really good pick if you're in a great path with Mr. Mime.
Yeah, we have the Blazing V-Stars over here in the purple with SilentSheeps playing that Glaceon role yet again. We saw that earlier in the tournament, how prevalent and how much damage SilentSheeps can get with that Glaceon. One of the best Glaceons we've seen here. And then over here in the orange for perfect execution, of course, we've got Mime. It's Nippy with that Delphox was able to put on a lot of pressure in the last coming games. Machamp and Aegislash also able to really secure there and able to get a little bit invasive in the central area. Very, very interesting comp here. A lot of bulk on the V-Stars side. We've seen also Mamoswine been an absolute prevalent one that we've seen pretty much all tournament.
Oh, yeah. Just the ability to able to kind of defend a goal and to kind of stall as much as possible, lay down a lot of CC, and of course, you get those freezes sometimes. It's just the things you need to really turn the tide in the battle as we get this match started.
Yeah, and we're going to see, it looks like a fairly regular split here. We've got two top, two bottom for each side, with, I guess, the Glaceon pursuing the jungle for the Blazing V-Stars here. And Swinub and Serena, a combo that we've seen a lot in the top lane these past couple of matches for the Blazing V-Stars over here. And Aegislash gonna stick to the lanes this time and not be not as much pressure in the jungle as we've seen in some of the other matches. Machamp is gonna go across here, of course, try to see if he can get some early score stacks here, but a little bit of tit for tat here going on in this top lane.
Yeah, as we do see the Focus Band trying to get some HP back, but went in a little too deep and got KO'd for it. So already, the aggression not really paying off there, unfortunately. You are being put behind now, and you do give a little bit of XP to your opponents, but sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
That is the case here, and it looks like we're getting a 3-on-3 matchup here at the top lane as both Glaceons are coming out from the jungle to help support the top lane here. Swinub and Serena going to take opposite sides here as they try to get into a better position to take it out, and the Serena does go down on the Blazing V-Star side, but we do get an evolution into the Pillow-Swine here. Going to try to see if we can make it back to base and hold that down, not getting any scores off for the team, and it looks like Glaceon might just barely miss out on this KO here for the Aegislash. critical miss, but at least they're not putting any points on the board. Again, still kind of keeping the stalemate positioning.
Yeah, but a really unfortunate situation just because Serena was out of place,
Yeah.
got a little aggressive, didn't understand that the Glaceon was sitting there just waiting. Could have stuck with teammates there and maybe could have swung that fight position-wise, but because of that early pick, they were able to have to back off and really gave away a lot of crucial XP there.
Yeah, and that's not something you want to do in this beginning of the game for sure. Looks like we're going to see Mime here for perfect execution. Going to try to rotate into this jungle, pick up some Cloud XP if they can. But the whole team gathers on.
Nice KO.
Glaceon goes down on perfect execution side, and we see now a pretty good stack up here for Blazing V-Stars, able to really pick up several KOs. Glaceon picking up getting a 2 KO streak here. As they start to rotate back top. Gonna try to see if they can stop this Machoke from stacking too many scores up here and really becoming more of an offensive threat than it already is. Piloswine gonna see what it can do to push it off there, and they're able to get it, but it looks like it's gonna sacrifice the Serena in the process as Glaceon comes in for backup, able to pick up the KO on the Aegislash, but again, still not getting anything other than just giving XP to the other side here.
Yeah, but this is good just because we did see the swing as we talked about earlier where Serena went down because it was out of position. But they were able to recover from that because of that fight in that central area, was able to pick up 2 KOs, so just giving more XP to it. And because of that, they were able to get a better position for the top Swablues in Ontario, get some more XP there. So right now, Glaceon's sitting really good. Great spot. They've already got enough XP, maybe potentially going to have that all. And there it is right there in the top lane as we go for a big fight here and picks up 2 KOs very easily.
Big showdown in top lane here. Not really able to get the massive team fight they want to, but they are picking up KOs here, left and right. Blazing V-Stars able to really put themselves in a good position to potentially pick up this Lecky, but not really getting the aggression that they need to really secure it yet. While Perfect Execution sets themselves up into a really good position to possibly defend it or steal it this last second. Both teams kind of sizing each other up. The power swap going off on the Mime. Going to give that to the Serena, see if they can get anything going here as they try to take down the Lecky, and it's going to fall to Blazing V-Star's side so they can put some critical pressure here as the 10 minutes tick away on the clock.
That was really nice fight there just because they all understood that, hey, we can't really get too aggressive here. We kind of have to poke and be patient. And then the Machoke, of course, thinking, hey, they might have enough to burst this. I have to jump in there. And that was the perfect moment they needed. Save the abilities, use them at the right time. We're able to push it, get the Regieleki. And now they score a couple points and they can back away. And job well done on that first objective.
Yeah, really a critical push there, and really showing a good, solid board state here for the Blazing V-Stars. It's what you want to see, especially as it gets closer to 5 minutes into the match. Gonna try to see if they can pick up these Altaria Clouds here, and they do get at least most of them. T-Tar gonna come in here and try to see if he can help out a little bit. Execution coming in here, trying to kind of size up the teams, but Glaceon able to pick up a good KO on this Delphox here. As we move into a bigger team fight, we see Glaceon's going to hide right here in the bushes. Mime's going to take the top bushes, going to try to get a good positioning, see if they can pinch these guys off. But V-Stars are just not taking the bait.
Yeah, and once again, one of the things we've pointed out before is Sheep on this Glaceon's done a really great job. I mean, just knowing where to pick your spots, just throwing out abilities, knowing just where to be, where to get in, get out, and hasn't been able to really be targeted. And just doing a great job. As we see the Mime pop the Unite here as we fight for this next objective. And both Mimes are going to go ahead and let their Unites off. Big Icicle Crash, able to get a lot of stuns off. And we see 2 Glaceon Unites at the same time. It is a huge fight here. And Tyranitar looks like he's barely going to be able to get away.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and it's a clean sweep there. Serena's going to try to play a little bit defensively, but they're able to cleanly pick up that Regice there. And shout out to Jfro there, making sure that that Unite goes off later for his Mime, allowing a really good, crucial KO to come in there and really pick up some slack as we see for a big push here. Looks like we're going to see a slight rotation towards top. Now hasn't seen a lot of attention lately. There is a new Lecky up. Mime's going to try to see if it can pick up some berries and brush through there pretty quickly. And we see both teams kind of eyeing each other down. They know what's on the line here. They don't want to make too much of a push, but Aegislash is going to go ahead and try to see if they can make a move. Mamoswine hiding in the bushes is going to come out, try to see what he can get here. It's a critical push on both sides, and it's able to be picked up by the Blazing V-Stars. A critical push here, but it looks like Exeggcution is going to win the full team fight. Machoke just not letting the Serena out of a corner. Glaceon going in for the final kill, and they do take the team fight, even though they lose the Lecky.
Yeah, you gotta love that one because it's a little bit of a heartbreaker because you were in a really great position objective-wise, but understanding like, hey, we may have lost it, but we can win the fight. So everybody turned, they made sure they got it, and they knew they had enough people to go back and defend the Regieleki. So really great job of situational awareness of knowing where they are on the map and how aggressive they can get.
Right, and enough time to go back and stop that Lecky from getting in the goal. I think that's absolutely critical here, especially this late in the match, and especially with where the top path is for them right now. A little bit of action going on here in the central area. Mamoswine trying to pick up a little bit of XP where it can. Delphox going to try to see if it can also pick up some XP from these clouds here in the middle, as we see a slightly bigger push here from the V-Stars coming in with the Mamoswine. Mime going to try to take some XP up top, or going to try to take on that Machamp one-on-one. Doesn't get too much out of that engagement. Machamp able to retreat back to the goal and heal up. But pretty much a standoff as these two teams just stare each other from across their bottom path goals.
Absolutely right. You want to just take your time, be as just cautious as possible because you are coming up on that 2-minute mark, and we all know what spawns in, and it is that Rayquaza. But a big Unite here, actually taking out.
Oh wow!
Really well done. This might be the push they need.
This is not a time to lose a team fight.
They can potentially just turn right on their Rayquaza and then pick it up here. But we do see the Serena coming with a nice Unite, might be able to pick up a KO and does. And it's an interesting place because right now it looks like they're all centraling towards that Rayquaza pick.
They're going to try to hit this Rayquaza as quickly and as hard as they can. The Mamoswine able to come in and stop, at least put some disruption in the middle. Aegislash is going to try to go through with it, but it doesn't end up picking up the KO. The Rayquaza ends up going down, and it goes down for the V-Stars. The V-Stars are able to take it here. Serena just going to decide to take this Glaceon one-on-one. The V-Stars, of course, have a very narrow lead right now. They have to get some points in because they could very easily be counterscored. Mime is not going to allow this Mamoswine to get in what he needs. He's going to try. Mime's going to try to see what it can do to break the shield, and it's able to get it off. 94 points again for the V-Stars, 92 points for coming in from the Tyranitar, from the Mamo, and now it's a 300-point gap between these two teams, and that's going to be a hard one to make up.
Absolutely. There's a minute left on the clock, so stranger things have happened, but crucial point there is that fight, the bottom path, they did win early, but the problem was Serena coming in, you were already chunked. You just didn't have enough time before those mons came back to be able to fight that. And it should have been something where it's like, you know what, let's just reset and back away because we already used up a lot of our resources. This is not something we can do here, even though we do have a lot of offense. It just unfortunately didn't work out too well as we see more fighting in that bottom path. But I believe regardless, it's a little bit too late for that. It's just unfortunately a big misjudgment and miscalculation there on going after that Rayquaza.
A big push here coming by Perfect Execution. It's a last-ditch effort to try to see if they can get anything in here as the last 20 seconds tick away on the goal. But they're able to wipe out the entire team, push towards that goal, and yeah, it looks like you can stick a fork in this one because it is done.
Absolutely. And for all in all, it was a really great fight just because the beginning of the early stages, we did see the purple team just get a nice XP advantage, did really, really well. And as the game kind of went on, going into that 2-minute and 23-second mark, that's where we saw that big fight happening. They just, they were in position. They did win the fight, but at what cost? A lot of resources having to be used there. And that's kind of what brought on the destruction in this game one.
Yeah, the V-Stars are playing an absolutely incredible game there. I think the biggest thing to me, losing that team fight right by the Regice at what, 2 minutes and 10 seconds? I mean, that's I can see exactly why Perfect Execution would want to try to go for something like that. I mean, if you can melt the Rayquaza right there, you can really turn things around. And, you know, that could have been the critical play to bring everything back in there. But SilentSheeps still getting off tons and tons of damage. Look at that, 770k, 30%, almost 40% of the team's total damage, and just out damaging literally everything on the field.
Absolutely. Those 17 KOs, all very crucial and all
Yeah.
just really spread out throughout the entire fight as we get ready for this game too. I'm wondering to see what can you do to really kind of stop it. Just always been in the right position, just like, oh,
Right.
I'm over here. Here, take that. Over here, take that. And you just haven't been able to see anybody put any pressure aside of sniping away, and it's causing a lot of issues, but you can't really break through the memo, and it's really showed. So kind
Yeah.
of have to think of a different way to kind of approach this here.
Right. I mean, you look at Perfect Execution's team. There's a lot of damage dealers there, right? There, you've
Mhm.
got that Machamp, and we've seen some impressive plays come out of that Machamp. Same thing with the
Absolutely.
Aegislash as well. Delphox able to put a lot of damage out from a distance, but there is a ton of bulk on the V Star side, and I just don't think they have enough right now to get through all of that. And I don't know necessarily if putting more guns into the equation is the answer. Maybe you need to get maybe this is one of those situations where a defense is the best offense.
Potentially. And the funny thing is that most of the things you see, like tank wise, Mime is there for a lot of disruption. They both have one, so there's not
Yeah.
really a difference there. It's just about coming out of the central area. The Glaceons have been going head to head matchup, so that's one of those where you're gonna ask, like, okay, what can I do to put more pressure to help my teammates in either one of their do I need to come earlier? Do I
Right.
need to wait and have them play a little safer? Just because it's just seeming slightly one-sided just every time you see the trades and damage. And that's unfortunate just because, like, I think a lot of the times we've seen so far, it's just been a lot of different Pokemon being kind of out of position or getting a little too over aggressive. And that's, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, well, things are going to end up a little one-sided whenever SilentSheeps is on the other side of that icicle spear, as we've been seeing in these past couple of matches. When it comes to the Glaceon matches, I mean, it's been unmatched with the output that Sheeps has been able to put out there. So it'll be interesting to see if there are any plays to try to see if they can curtail that, or if you just try to play around it as much as you can.
For sure, for sure. I'm looking forward to see what this game 2 looks like just because it was really even just going
Yeah,
into a lot of that match. It was 165, 162 for a good bit of
right,
time. And,
right.
that's normally where you want to be going into that 2 minute spawn of the Rayquaza.
Yeah,
Everybody's just kind of even. Maybe you try to play for back caps, but, that big fight, of course, kind of turned the tides. And I'm wondering to see if they make maybe a different decision at that point because the Reggie Ice really wasn't that worth it. I guess they just thought maybe they can pick up a couple picks here, but ended up backfiring against them as we look going into this game too.
yeah, that fight was really won and lost at Rayquaza. The V Stars being able to come in and sneak that win in there, absolutely incredible and absolutely critical. But it looks like we have our next matchup. It looks like things are going to be run fairly the same for the V Stars. And
Let's see if
Perfect
there's any
Execution,
differences here.
a little bit of switching up on Perfect Execution side. What do you think's going on with these switch ups?
I am interested. If the Pikachu is the pick here, I can understand it. You get a lot
Mhm.
more range, and of course, it can generate that Unite move much faster, and you get a lot of stunning capabilities in that mon in that kit.
Yeah,
So I kind of like that pick. It is a bit squishy, so that is something you do have to worry about. You have to make sure you stay really far back because if you get caught, you're probably not going to escape. So I don't mind that pick there. I think it's going to be pretty good. Slowbro is an interesting one as well, just because
yeah,
of the way the Unite move works. You're able to single out one target and kind of take them out of a fight. And plus,
yeah.
if you are using that Surf or Scald, you have a lot of good CC and good damage. So I think the picks will be pretty good, but still, I'm wondering about how the end game is going to look. Just
Yeah.
because you don't have as much damage, but you do have a lot of Slowbro sustain early on, so that could
Yeah.
potentially sway some of these fights.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. If the Slowbro can manage to keep Sheeps off and away from these big team fights and getting some critical KOs when those situations and they can stack it into their favor, I think that they
Yeah,
could have some success here. But it's going to really depend
yeah,
on how that Slowbro is able to get it. Slowbro is
yeah.
going to take the top lane this time with Machoke for the Perfect Execution. We see Swinub and Serena returning for the Blazing V-Stars in that top lane. Pikachu and Mime are going to be moving into the bottom path for Perfect Execution, and we see a Mime and Serena is going to be also moving in for the V Stars down bottom. And interesting. Oh, sorry, we're on top lane here. And so interesting to see the Machoke here in the top lane. Previously, we've been seeing Perfect Execution running the Mime and Machoke combo in the bottom path, but this time adding a little bit more bulk to that top lane party.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I've been talking about right here, just this early game, just because it can tank a lot of that damage. Unfortunately, Machop did go in there a little too early, tried to steal away that XP, but unfortunately paid for it. So not really helping there. But Slowbro has already shown that, hey, I can tank damage for my friends, and then you can escape. But his friends got a little picked up there, as we do see in the bottom path, the Pikachu and the Mimes, of course, trading, and Tyranitar are just trying to get some XP to get that level up eventually as you hover up back to top path.
Yeah, and we see the Serena not able to get as much success as maybe the last couple of matches. Slowbro really putting some pressure on there. Glaceon's going to clean up some of these jungle XP mons here, as Mime and Pupitar here are going to try to see what they can do to secure that bottom path goal, keeping a pretty tight lock on it with both these teams. Not really trying to try each other too much. They don't have too much to fight for at this moment, so just kind of avoiding each other, but picking up the XP wherever they can.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is they're doing a good job just keeping XP away from the Tyranitar right now. As we do see everybody hovering to the central area, just trying to get these Swablues and Altaria XP, but big disengage, not really anything too much. You know, last game there was kind of a big fight that broke out, but this time everybody being really cautious and picking their spots very wisely, knowing that, hey, if we get a little bit kind of in the way, then potentially this could turn really bad for us. As we see, the Swinub may have been a little over aggressive and had to pay for it, and does.
Swinub cornered by 3 Mons. Serena's going to try to hold it down, but they're not going to be able to stop the stacking that's going on here as Perfect Execution breaks that top goal on Blazing V-Star's side. Serena going to try to see what they can do to make up some XP from these Indeedis, as the Pupitar down bottom tries to desperately get the XP it needs to get to that T-Tar stage. Of course, its damage output heavily held back until it gets to that stage, but the Mime gonna do what it can to push forward here. It looks like we're seeing more from this Machoke, really getting a chance to stack these weights and put themselves into a really aggressive position for this Regieleki coming up here, and having a solid positioning on it. We're gonna see Blazing V-Stars try to come in from behind here. And it looks like they are not able to pick it up. Perfect Execution is going to take the Lecky for themselves, and it seems fitting after they've had such a solid handle on it for most of the time they were trying to get it down.
Absolutely, and the Slowbro is already paying a lot of dividends, being able to tank a lot of these shots, because a lot of these other Pokemon we've seen, once they get hit with that Icicle Spear, they're just like, oh, I have to back away. The Slowbro's like, oh, okay, I can tank that and keep going, and it's kind of a thing where Glaceon doesn't really like that, where you're able to walk it down. So already paying off huge, and I really like the adjustment, just knowing, hey, let's get a little bit more aggressive on the top path, because Regieleki is one of the most important things, and that's what they've chosen to do, and it's paid off already.
It's a very different game in the top path this time around with that Slowbro's presence there. We're going to see a bit of a team fight start to square up here. Glaceon picks up a KO against the opposing Glaceon on Perfect Execution side. SilverSheeps at it again. Coming in, trying to pick up as much XP as they possibly can, but not really engaging with the other side. BlueKiro is going to see if they can get a 40-point dunk on the top goal, and they are able to get it off. I'm going to pick up as many freestanding points as they can, trying to break down that goal in the top path here. We see Perfect Execution converging on this Regice, trying to see if they can burn it really quickly, and it's stolen by the Paloswine behind it, able to pick up looks like 2 KOs, 3 KOs from that Regice attempt, and man, Execution had that from the get-go here. Now it looks like they're going to be a fight on the goal here. Slowbro a little bit out of position, not able to get some heals from that goal, and V-Stars completely takes advantage of it. Icicle Spears going everywhere, taking out that Slowbro and getting a lot of pressure. What a team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And for that one, you have to kind of be a little not necessarily brought down by it, but you had the advantage. Pupitar was up in the top path trying to get XP. Serena was still scoring a 40 and then another 9. So the fact that you had the positional and numbers advantage, you couldn't take advantage of that, and then Serena came down to help finish off the fight, really kind of was a moment of just like, okay, we miscommunicated something went wrong. We should have pushed our advantage once you saw on the map that all of their team was not there. As we do see a huge fight go up top, and Regieleki is going to be advancing towards the purple side goal, so really well done there. But I think they might be able to clean it up here just because Glaceon is using another Unite move, and they're going after the Slowbro, but Slowbro just able to tank, but not enough, and they were able to pick up that KO. It looks like they're going to get a huge jump
up there. V-Stars completely outnumbered on that Rotom, able to use Mime to hold it back and keep it off from their goal, but still get some critical scores here, breaking that top path goal and, you know, making up some critical ground that they need to this late in the game. Now, scoreboard is completely flipped.
Yeah, it's amazing how the momentum just shifted almost instantly. They lost one fight. They got the objective first time. They lost one fight down the bottom, and all of a sudden, every fight we've seen so far has not gone their way, and it's just amazing the drastic changes. We see a push down the bottom path goal, trying to make up for that, and it looks like they are going to be able to make up for it a little bit. Silent tries, you know, poke away, get some damage done, but knowing I don't want to take this fight. This is not for me. It's okay. We're still in the good spot.
FrogParty going to drop off a 40-point into the top goal for Perfect Execution side. Mime chasing it into the jungle here. As we see the objective being burned down at the bottom. Perfect Execution cleaning that up fairly well. FrogParty going to go see what they can do, clean up some more XP here in the jungle, pick up some spare points wherever they can. Everyone at this point looking at the clock, right? Timer's ticking down to Reggie. What can you do to put yourself into a good position? There are a couple of Lecky that could possibly come up here, but with 20 seconds of the clock, it's kind of risky to try to burn for it if they're in the right position. And it looks like everyone's kind of sizing each other up. Everyone's thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those things you would worry about. Sure, this Lecky is very important. It could potentially swing how this Rayquaza fight will go at the 2-minute mark, but don't expel a lot of resources. Back away if you have to, because it is not that important, because you potentially could put yourself in a really bad spot. As we do see, they are trying to go for it. They do have the position to do this, but you just have to worry about if they turn and fight for this, and it looks like they got it, so they may be able to push this a little bit. They do pick up a huge KO on Mamo, so they might be able to walk this in and get some huge points. As we see, they're just going to go to the Rayquaza pit. They might try to potentially just go after this now, but they have to be very careful because everyone is still ready to fight.
In the same position they were last time, trying to burn the Rayquaza down to about 50% health. Both teams now in the thick of it, as we see Unite moves going off all over the place. Serena firing off with one, and the KOs go down. 3 down on Blazing of V-Star's side, 2 down over on the Perfect Execution side, and we see the Rayquaza go down. The Rayquaza goes down, and the V-Stars are the one that are able to pick it up. With 48, with the 30-point lead right now, they have to get some points on the board in order to prevent this back cap, but the Mime is going for it right now. 100 points on there, 310, now leading 348. So now we're in a position where the V-Stars could possibly come back, bring this to a round 3 here, and 448 on the board. A really, really hard one to come back from here.
It happened pretty much again. Like, it was kind of the same way game 2 went. They kind of was like, hey, we're going to go for the Ray right now, even though they had way more people on the opposing team still up and ready to go. But they made the choice like, hey, let's start hitting it. And then during the middle of it, they kind of like, hey, we kind of need to fight. And that indecision, even though 3 KOs, Tyranitar and Mamo were able to do just enough to make sure, hey, we're going to go ahead and secure this. Even with the back cap, it just wasn't enough because they were able to have some people come back and get these points up. And Mamo and Titar truly saved the day on this one.
Mime and Titar and Machamp all teaming up to do what they can to stop this Mamoswine from scoring any further goals. Tyranitar also going to see what he can do to make a push here, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to get off anything as it's in a 4-5v1 situation, and they get a clean KO, and it looks like that's where this is going. I mean, there was just not enough to come back for Perfect Execution, and this one looks like it's going to the Blazing V-Stars.
Now wait, just for me to be clear, is this Grand Finals a best of 3 or a best of 5? Because if it's a best of 3, that's just game. And
yeah, that's it.
No, wait, really?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's best of 3, right? I mean, unless there's something I don't know, I believe it's still a best of 3, and I think that means that it goes to the Rayquaza pit. I mean, like, like there's nothing that can be said about that match other than what happened in the Rayquaza pit. Perfect execution each time, thinking that they had the perfect open. But unfortunately, it was far from it.
I'm a little speechless, as you can see, just because.
Yeah.
I'm, grand finals, normally when you come in from losers, you get a chance to reset. So I was thinking the best of 5, but it's a best of 3. So I felt like I missed a lot of hype, which should have been there. I apologize because in my head, I'm like, they get one more opportunity. And no, that was it. That's game. That's ball game. They're going home.
That's game.
So
that is
GG's and congratulations is all that needs to be said right now.
82,000 damage coming off of SilentSheeps and that Glaceon. Absolutely incredibly impressive plays and able to really not only get off that much damage, but keep those damage dealers in a position where they stay up, they stay alive, and they're able to pick up KO after KO after KO. Great positioning by the support there. I don't know, the mime plays on both of the Regielekis, even though those both went to perfect execution, with the mime coming out front, throwing down the barrier, and then the Machamp just absolutely doing everything it could to melt it. I mean, there was really good communication on that side, and everyone did move at the right time. It was just the wrong call to try to push in for those Rayquazas, especially when Mamo can just drop some ice on it and run out of there.
Yeah, the Mamo, and of course we did see the Unite move come out from the Tyranitar. That's what really saved the day. Being able to crank out that much damage and kind of tank in all that damage and just stay alive to make sure, like, hey, you may get this, but it's gonna take a lot from you, and that's really what kind of made the example. And of course, we did see Tyranitar was able to somehow get that, and Mimo was able to just like, hey, me and my friends SilentSheep, we're gonna go score, and that's kind of all it takes right there. So just a little indecisiveness we've seen in game 1 and 2, just what the call should be in the Rayquaza pit, and that's what cost them. We saw it every single time, where it's like, hey, we got a slight advantage. Game 2, should we take this? They started it, and then they kind of noticed, like, kind of quarter way through it, like, this is not a great idea, but by then it's too late. You're being engaged on, and you have to fight, or you have to finish the Rayquaza. That is what cost them this championship. And a really great job, though. They did an amazing job, much better in this game 2 than game 1, but just that slight moment, you did such a great job, but you have to be very critical in your calls in those late games when it comes under that 2-minute mark, and it shows.
Right. I mean, the everything other than the Rayquaza pit, though. I mean, like, there was just such good synergy with perfect execution. The way they were able to move on objectives, the way that they were able to take control of the lane, the way they were able to pivot and really put the pressure that they needed to on that top lane late game. I mean, hats off to both teams here. But of course, big congratulations to our first Unite Shuffle presented by the Wide League champions, Blazing V-Stars. Congratulations, Blazing V-Stars, for that first place secure there. And, you know,
they deserve all the love and praise. It feels bad, though, just because, like, I felt we should have gave them their moment. It's just that, unfortunately for me, I talk about situational awareness and not. I was not situationally aware that it was going to be a best of 3 for Grands, so I felt like I didn't give them the praise and proper hype that they deserve. So that's on me. I apologize, but GG's, congratulations to everybody involved, and it was a fantastic tournament.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic tournament. Just some incredible plays overall. Mime, definitely, if not the MVP, or at least the most seen, right? Everywhere. And the Mime plays
100% pick rate.
Right. Those tricky mimes, dude, with their 10-point scores at the very, very end. Absolutely incredible stuff. But I think with that, that's a sign off for us. It's always a pleasure casting with you, Slim. If anybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
For me, BigSlimWRLD, WRLD, everywhere. And for me, I'm just happy to get an opportunity to cast, to watch RT and Tingz, to watch Sophie and Relic. It's just like,
big shout out to all the casters. You guys did absolutely fantastic.
And it just like it inspires me to be better and just learn more. So, like, you know, I just appreciate Wide giving me the opportunity, and me and you, we've always worked together on VGC stuff, and it's cool to work together on the Unite stuff. So I just appreciate the opportunity, and I did some service, some good justice to the casting role for today. So I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Same here, man. It's always a pleasure casting with you guys. It's always a pleasure casting for the Unite League. If you want to follow me, you can find me at Roosbane on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. And big shout out, of course, to the sponsors: Poppy Cantan, Elite Pokebox, Community Gaming. And yeah, I think with that, we're gonna kick it out to Wide for some goodbyes and everything next. But thank you guys for watching.
GGs. We'll catch you guys later.